So in this lecture, we are now going to start taking a look at doing a technical audit for SEO. And to do that, we're going to use the SEMRush tool. It's a tool that I've mentioned before. It's a very vast tool. It has a lot of features. And one of the features it has is doing an automated technical audit of a website. Now, one thing to remember, as I mentioned in the document for this module, that technical SEO is very vast and it is relative. It can depend on your website. So to teach it and go through all the details is going to be quite difficult. So it's better to focus on things that are very common and universal across different websites. And they typically happen if something goes wrong. But obviously when you start up a website, you shouldn't face any of these issues. These are usually issues that happen once a website is live and has existed for quite some time. That's when you start seeing errors. So SEMrush has a great tool, and all you have to do is just plug in your website and what you want to audit in terms of the settings, and then it starts automating the audit for you. Now, I already have an SEMrush account, and so I won't be signing up. But if you don't, you can sign up. If you do, you can just log in and get going. And in the next lecture, I will show you where to start the SEO audit in SEMrush. Once you've logged into SEMrush, you'll be presented with this projects overview page. And if you have projects like I do here, they'll be listed. But what we want to do is look at the left-hand side menu panel, and we just want to scroll down to SEO audit. Click on that. Now it takes us to the SEO audit overview page, and if you have projects already set up, they will be listed and shown here with different metrics such as overall site health, errors found, warnings found, the crawlability of the site, and if you have other features like international SEO and the overall site performance. But we'll go into, in the next lecture, how to set up an SEO audit project. Okay, so now when setting up an SEO audit in a new account in SEMrush, this is the screen that you will first see. So if we scroll down, it shows us the main technical areas the audit covers. It then shows us how the reports are displayed in a graphical, intuitive way. Then it shows us a workflow method for improving technical errors. Okay, so we're ready now to set up a dummy audit. So after entering the domain name we want to crawl, in the previous screen that you saw where there was a search bar to enter a domain name. Now, usually that domain name is the website that you own and that you're working on. But in our instance, as it's a dummy and we're not doing a crawl on a website that we own ourselves, you may do that after watching this video. I've just used sony.co.uk as I have done throughout this whole course. Now, it says here that limit of check pages is 100 by default. You can increase that. You click it, you can go up to 100,000. And then if you want custom, then you have to ask SEMrush for a custom relationship. Now the crawl source is the website. So we want to crawl the website, but you can also choose to crawl the sitemap, which can be sometimes quicker. Now down on the left-hand side, we have different settings. So if you go into the crawler settings, now, as we mentioned in the robots.txt lectures, we spoke about user agents. Now here you see SEMrush has its own user agents. So it has a new user agent for mobile, it has one for desktop, or you can choose to crawl via Googlebot Mobile or Googlebot Desktop. Now, some savvy network administrators or website administrators, they block a lot of types of bots. So sometimes it might be best to crawl via Googlebot Mobile or Googlebot Desktop, because it would be very unlikely that website administrators would block Googlebot. because obviously most websites need to be crawled by Google. And here you can see it's got crawl delay. So in the robots.txt module, when we spoke about adding a crawl delay to your robots.txt, SEMRush audit also has some of these features. So you can crawl 1 URL per 2 seconds to slow things down. You can choose respect robots.txt. So if I were running this audit on another website, I would respect robots.txt. But because this audit is geared up towards crawling a website that you own, it's really up to you, because you might not have a crawl delay in robots.txt file, or you may do, or you may want to have, yes, the minimum delay, respect the crawl delay, or you might want to change it to 1 URL per 2 seconds. Or if you know the crawl delay that is in the robots.txt file, let's say, for example, it's set at 240 seconds, just select robots.txt and it will respect that. And if you crawl over the, if you just scan over the I labels here, the icons here, SEMrush gives you an explanation of what it means if to respect the robots.txt file. Okay, so here you can see it says, if our crawler slows down your website, you can override crawler's default behavior by telling it to follow the crawl delay directive in your robots.txt file. Okay, so now the module that we done previously on robots.txt is making more sense. Now, if you go to the next section, you can put in here allow and disallow. So again, what we covered in the robots.txt file is being made evident in the real world. Then we have remove URL parameters. So if you have parameter URLs, for example, URLs that have the equals sign or that have the key value pairs. So for example, many instances, the URL parameter is something that has a question mark and equals after it in the URL. So I gave an example of, in the robots.txt file, if we wanted to exclude certain types of URLs, we use the star sign, the asterisk sign, the regex wildcard, and it won't crawl that. So here is a similar feature in SEMrush's audit. Then you can bypass, here in this option, bypass website restrictions. For example, bypass disallow in robots.txt and the meta robots tag. So if in the robots.txt file, there is a disallow of a certain folder, you can bypass it here. So as I mentioned in the module on robots.txt, on the robots.txt file, I don't want to sound repetitive here, but I said there are certain robots on the web that do not respect your robots.txt file, but the good ones, the good bots and the good user agents do. So I wouldn't select this crawl. But if you're running the crawl on your own website, which this is aimed to do, then by all means you can do that. And the next option is really cool. You can schedule the audits. So instead of doing it by yourself all the time, you may want to set it to run weekly. For example, every Sunday, you can run it daily, or you can just do it once as a one-off. Now, the benefit of scheduling the audit is that you can catch things where maybe you're not expecting to do it. For example, do you really want to do an audit whenever you find the time? And then if you do that, you may find broken links or some other issue with your website. But if it's run in an automated way, you can see those errors and be alerted of those errors. And then you can go about fixing them on the fly and be proactive rather than reactive, okay? And then you just press start audit. And then what it does, it goes and fetches a crawl and starts the audit, and then it emails you the audit, okay? So just press start audit, and this is what it starts doing, okay? Now it's doing its thing. Okay, so once it's done, you'll see all these metrics being filled up. For example, the overall site health, the amount of errors it found, the warnings it found. So warnings are something that are not critical, but something that you should, put on your maybe number 2 priority list. And then the crawlability. So how many of the URLs it was able to crawl, whether you have HTTPS, then international SEO, and the overall site performance. Okay, so we're not going to wait for these metrics because sony.co.uk is not our website. Unless if you are working on that website and you're watching this course. If you are, I'm very grateful. But if you're able to do this on your own website, I suggest you wait for the metrics to finish, and then you can go about fixing these things. Because what SEMrush does, if you click on the errors section, it gives you an explanation of what the errors are and how to go about fixing it. So there are a lot of SEO professionals that swear by the SEMrush audit tool, and they love the features and the recommendations that SEMrush provides when it comes to fixing the errors it finds. And as a result, they've seen better performance on SEO by following the recommendations by SEO.